In this tutorial, I'll show how you can cache the response of your Spring Boot REST APIs by using secondary database such as Redis and Aerospike. I am going to use Aerospike for this tutorial. So if you have a API which takes a considerable amount of time to run the processes in your service layer or to query the primary database to search for results, but the response of your API does not change frequently with time. So for a certain interval of time, let's say 2 hours, all the users get almost the same response. So you can cache the response of your API for this interval. This will improve the performance of your application, drastically improve the response time of your API, since now you don't have to run the processes in your service layer and you don't even have to query your primary database. And it will also reduce the load into your primary database. So now if any user hits the API, first it will search into Aerospike if the result is already cached. If it is, then it will directly send the response from here. And if the result is not cached, then it will run the processes and query the primary database for results. And before sending the response to user, it will cache the result into Aerospike so that the next user who hits the API will get the cached result. Okay, so now let's create a simple Spring Boot application where we will implement Aerospike caching. I'll be using IntelliJ for this tutorial. I normally use Spring Initializer to create any new project. I'm going to name the project Aerospike caching. Select whatever Java version you have. Now as for dependencies, we will need Spring Web, Spring Data JPA, and Lombok. Lombok is not necessary, but I'll tell you where it is helpful. Now I'll create a application which is going to store list of employees with details employee ID, first name, last name, and position of the employee. And the application will contain 3 API endpoints: add employee to add an employee to the list, get all employees to get the list of all the employees, and get employee by ID to get employee details by its ID. Now the first thing we have to do is create a model class which will contain employee details. I am going to name this class employee, which will contain employee details such as first name, last name, employee ID, and position of the employee. Now, since I am going to store the employee details in MySQL, I have to tell Spring that this class is an entity which represents a table in MySQL. And we do this by adding entity annotation in the class. And table annotation to set the name of the table in MySQL. I'm going to name this table employees. And also I want to keep employee ID as a primary key in the table by adding ID annotation to the field. and I want this ID to be auto incremental. Now we also want getters and setters for these variables to set the values. You can either add getters and setters from here, or you can add the data annotation in the class. So if you remember, I have add one dependency from Lombok package. So this annotation is from Lombok, and it will automatically add getters and setters as well as constructors in the background. So you won't be able to see it here, but it is there in the background. Now let's add a controller where we will create our API endpoints. I am going to name this controller class employee controller. Annotate the class with REST controller. Now this controller will contain three endpoints. First one will be a post mapping. To add any new employee to the list. And this endpoint will take employee details in the request body and will send auto incremented employee ID in the response after saving the employee in the list. So while passing details of new employee in the request body, we won't pass employee ID. It will be generated by the repository while saving the employee to the list. And it will assign this ID to this employee object we are passing here. So this endpoint is done. Now let's create the other endpoint, and it will be a get mapping. To get all the employees in the list. This method will return list of employee. Then the next endpoint will also be a get mapping. To get any specific employee by his employee ID. This method will return employee object. And it will take employee ID in the request parameter. So now we have all the three endpoints. Now let's auto add this employee repository. So currently we don't have this employee repository. So next, now let's create this repository. So this repository is an interface which extends JPA repository. And this repository contains employee object in the row and employee ID as the primary key of the table. Annotate this class with repository. Now let's add our MySQL server details where we want to create this employees table. But before doing this, we have to add MySQL connector dependency in pom.xml. So this is the dependency. Now let's add our server details in application.properties. So this is my local MySQL server and the name of my database is topics. And I have used update method in my DDL auto here. So what it does is if you don't have employees table already present in your database, it will create for you. But if you already have the table, you can set this property to none. I'll keep it as update for me. And if you don't have any MySQL server, check out my video on how to set up MySQL server on your local system. I'll add the link in the description. So now our application is complete. We have all the endpoints here. But before we add Aerospike to cache the API responses, let's run the application and check out how much time this API will currently take to send the response without using caching. So let's run the application. So this is the endpoint to add the employees in the table. This is a post method. Currently my table is empty, so let's add some employees in the table. So when you add the employee, it will send you the employee ID, it will assign to the employee. So let's add few more employees. Now let's check in Workbench if the employees has been added or not. So now we have 3 employees added in the table. Now let's check the other APIs. So this API is taking approximately 1.1 second. So now let's add caching to our application and then we will compare. Now let's add Aerospike to our application. So first we have to add two dependencies in pom.xml. First one is the Spring Data dependency for Aerospike and second is the Aerospike client to connect to our Aerospike server from our application. Now let's configure Aerospike for our application. So first we have to import 3 classes from Aerospike package. These classes are required for Aerospike caching manager constructor. Now add Aerospike client with your server details. Add your server host here and port. So by default Aerospike node runs on port 3000 and then you can set TTL for your cached record. I've used 1 hour here. So after 1 hour the cached record will be automatically expired. Next pass this client to cache manager. AutoWire Aerospike converter. So this converter will map your API response to Aerospike. And if you have unit tests in your application, then you will be needing this Aerospike template. So I don't have it, so I'll comment it out. Here if your namespace is different from test, so you have to replace this with your namespace. Then we have to enable auto configuration here. To add the rest of the default configurations to this class. If you don't have Aerospike server, I'll be adding a video on how to set up Aerospike server, AMC, which is the browser console for Aerospike, and a UI tool to analyze your data in Aerospike. And we'll add the link in the description. With this, our config is now complete. Now go to controller and add cacheable annotation to the API endpoint of which you want to cache the results. Add your namespace. So test is the default namespace that comes with Aerospike server. So now only the first time you hit the API to get the list of all the employees, it will query MySQL. And then from next time onwards, for next 1 hour, results will be cached in Aerospike and will be fetched directly from there. Now, if you have any parameter in your API, such as in this API we have employee ID as a parameter. So in these APIs where the results are different for different employee ID, so in such cases you have to add the parameter as a key to cache those results. So here you have to add key apart from your namespace. So key will obviously be a parameter. Now one more thing we have to do is enable caching in the main application file. Now by default Aerospike does not allow to set TTL while writing the data. So to enable TTL you have to set this property to true with this command. So replace this test with your namespace, connect to your Aerospike server and run this command. So I have already set this property, so I won't run it. Okay, now I think we are done with the implementation. Wait, this should be configuration and not auto configuration. Okay, so now let's run the application. Okay, we have one issue here. Yeah, I forgot to import custom converter, which will convert your API data while mapping. So keep a note that you have to import this class from Aerospike package and not from Spring Data. And since we are importing this class, we also have to import a type holder for this converter. Okay, now everything looks fine. So let's run it. Yeah, now it's working. So the first time I hit the API, the result will be fetched from MySQL. So please note this response time, it's approximately 1.7 seconds. And if you see in the Aerospike console, you will see a spike. That means that our result is now cached. So now if I hit the API, the response time is approximately 50 milliseconds, which is almost 10 times faster than the previous response time. So currently we have 3 employees in the list. So let's add some more. Let's add 2 more employees. So now we have total of 5 employees in the list. But if I get the list of all the employees, you will still get only 3 employees in the list. That's because this result is the cached result we are getting from Aerospike and not the original result which is stored in MySQL. So this result will be updated with the 5 employees after 1 hour, which is our TTL. And if you want to look at your cached data in Aerospike, you could use this Aerospike UI tool, which is not the official tool, but it's a private project. So here, this is the cached result we have, and this is the time which is remaining to expire the data. I hope you have liked this video and found it useful. So please subscribe to my channel because I'll be adding many more such videos every week. Thank you.